might need to come to you to get some features and shit, man. You look like you got a hookup.
You, man.
You the plug.
DJ Firestarr keeping it smashed.
So I'm Dro C Dot. We're the Fanatix. We're with your boy DJ Firestarr, Influential Records, Spotify. Let's go.
DJ Firestarr, Spotify, Influential Records, Season 2. And we've got some guys in the building I've been trying to get on for a minute. Super producers. That's what I like to call them. Fanatix. What's going on, my brothers? How are you, man?
Good.
What's good, man? We're good, man. Happy to be here with you today.
Yeah, man. All good.
Yeah, we've been trying to lock in for a minute, and you know, haven't had that many producers on the series. You know, I'm trying to get time with more producers in, and you know, we've got a toddler episode drop in. We've had Walshy Fire on, who I'm sure you know you man are familiar with those names and those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they are peoples.
Off the jump, for the people that might be locked in that aren't familiar with yourselves, like talk a little bit about what you man do. Maybe I know the bangers you've made and the people you've worked with, but let the people know kind of a bit more about yourselves.
We're London-based, both from East London. With Fanatix, I'm Dro
C Dot.
That's the intro. And yeah, I don't know, I guess producers are usually a lot more in the background, but we're working on our project now. We've worked with pretty much the whole UK scene. And whenever we work with people, we try and do the standout tracks for them. So it's always like we're pushing boundaries with the artists that we're working with. And yeah, it's just that time now. Like we had a single a couple years ago with Stylo. It was a joint single, Fanatix and Stylo G, featuring Nicki Minaj, Vibes Cartel, Touchdown, and that went off. And yeah, we're here now. We've never stopped really, but yeah, we're kind of more front and center now. So we've got our single dropping soon. I think from what you were saying before, I think you might have had a little preview of it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about the music, guys. 100%, that's what we're here to do. But talk a little bit about your entry into the game. Like, how did you find coming into the game? Was it an easy entrance into the producer kind of situation? Have you found it to be like a hard grind to get to where you are? Or was it, you know, did you have the links coming into the game? Like, talk a little bit about like the entry into the game.
Yeah, it was impossible, pretty much. The game was impregnable. Like, there was a force field. Yeah, you almost feel like when you're trying to get into the game, you just feel like you're being blackballed because no one's interested in talking to you. No one's got any time for you. You know that what you've got is definitely something that the game needs, but no one's just there waiting to give you an opportunity, as much as, you know, people might make it seem like, you know, yeah, you just got to send emails and whatever. Like, you literally just have to make noise. Like, I started out as a rapper initially, and I just found that I couldn't get features on my stuff and whatever, and I used to produce my own stuff. And I got introduced to C Dot as an engineer. I didn't even know that he made beats at the time, and like, I sent him our stuff to mix and master, and he sent it back with like additional production. And I was just like, whoa, no one even told him to do that, but this is crazy. And then we kind of chopped it up, and he invited me down to a day where he just invited a couple producers and a couple songwriters. And I was used to just being locked away in my area and just working on things by myself, not letting anyone hear anything. And he kind of opened me up to the idea of just working as a group of people and putting like everyone's creative energies together. And that kind of just gave me the idea of like, raw, like, if I put together a production team and like we could pool each other's resources. We're from different parts of London at the time. He'll know people I don't know, vice versa. I might make a beat that sounds sick for someone he knows. As long as it's mutually beneficial for everyone sees it as a win whenever something gets connected, then that might be a way of going forwards. But I was just thinking, he's doing his thing anyway, he ain't going to be interested. But I just presented him the idea, and he's just like, yo, 100%, I'm on it. Yeah. And there were a couple other producers that I presented it to at the time. And then we kind of just got together, and then just through life, through obligations and responsibilities, we're the last ones standing. But yeah, we're the founding members anyway. So
during that period, who was the first kind of artist that you would say kind of gave you a look in during that time when you guys were building at the start collectively? I mean, you've got links with so many now, but who do you align with that you'd say, yeah, like, you know, that's that he gave us the first kind of link or connect? Or
I think initially it was kind of just sporadic, and we'd just be happy to work with anyone. And I remember like the first time we got paid £500 for a beat, we were so gassed, like, rah, someone actually paid us money for something we've been doing for free for fun.
right.
Do you know what I mean? But I think we kind of turned a corner when we decided like the sporadic thing wasn't working so much, and we needed someone that actually had a release mechanism, whose songs were getting onto radio and getting onto all the platforms and on TV and stuff. So we had a session where Paigey came down, and at the time she was like quite front and center with things that were happening out there, and we just said to her like, we want to be your go-to producers. We need to like let's just work and push. And then we did a song with her called Boogie, which was like, it was a big moment for her at the time, and it kind of, that was like the first time people heard the Fanatix tag like as far out as that song reached. And then from there, I remember like a year before that, we'd been kind of messaging Stylo, because we got a lot of dancehall energy in our sound as well, and we wanted to work with him. I just remember, you know, when you're in that, you're not in the inbox, you're in the other inbox, like the don't even bother looking inbox.
I know about that inbox.
So he didn't see it until he went to message us after he heard that Paigey song, saying that he wanted to work and whatever.
Right.
And then from there, we worked with him, done a song with him, and then Chip ended up on that song, and then we ended up getting a link to Chip, and then ended up getting gigs on a beat with Sneakbo. And then from there, it just kind of started snowballing, and it was a thing where we were never really running out looking for people. It was always people kind of reaching out to us.
Yeah.
And that's like, it was never us going to events and networking and banging down doors. It was just us being in the studio, constantly working, and then saying, oh, right, we got a message from blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it worked for us.
Yeah, for me as a club DJ, like, you know, the relationships that stand out when I think about you, man, are the ones you've just mentioned. And, you know, especially the Stylo link and the Chip link. And anytime I get something from you, man, like, it's high energy, it's for the clubs, and it bangs. In terms of those two guys as artists, what's some of the differences when you're working with a Chip compared to a Stylo in terms of like the process? And I mean, how important is it for you guys to have kind of that level of relationship with these guys when they're putting together their projects, and to be the forefront, kind of the go-to guys, as you said, for that kind of sound, I guess?
They're not that different, really. In like, obviously, they're different in the ways of what they do, but like the process, they both kind of have an energy and a vibes in studio where they kind of just get down bars. Like, they don't really write their bars down so much, and yeah, it's just a whole vibe. Like, literally building the beat at the time as well, writing. Like, yeah, it's energy, really.
Yeah, it's quite an inclusive process. Like, working with people on music is, for want of a better word, it's an intimate process in the sense that you have to trust each other. We would have a lot more feedback or input than people might imagine, just because when we made a beat's like our child. Like, we've made a beat, you want that child to go to a good school and get a good education and get a good job. And that's kind of the journey you want your beat, your music to go on. Do you know what I mean? So someone might say something, and it's like, you have to work out how to articulate without stifling someone's creativity, but just say, yo, fam, that's not it still. I think you could do better than that. And I think the beat deserves better than that. But yeah, once you've got that relationship with people, it's a lot easier to do that. Some people earlier in our journey, before like we had a name or whatever, it'd be like, you need to tell me about how to write my bars, fam. But when you're making a beat and you're bopping your head, you know what kind of flow would fit, and you know what kind of energy the lyrics need to mirror. Like, you don't want to hear a hard beat and then someone's putting a girl song on it, for instance. Like, the concept and everything has to match the energy of the beat. So it's very much a process that we're a part of.
Is that what makes the difference, basically, between people that just make beats, and as they say, like real producers that kind of help guide or give their opinion or help structure the final product.
Yeah, we don't like just sending out beats and getting songs back. Like, we want to be in that process, because there's always some kind of boundary that can be pushed that, you know, if the artists are willing to allow it. And we only kind of like working with people that are willing to just make that a process where we're kind of pooling our ideas and just making the best of what that situation is.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk music, man. So what I like to do on the episode is, first of all, I like to set the tone. So obviously, Fanatix in the building, for the people locked in, I want you guys to pick, let's say, 3 records from your catalog that, if people maybe haven't heard you before, what you'd play them, maybe one of the tracks that means the most to you. And of course, I think it's only right we start off with the brand new banger that, well, by the time this is out, it's going to have dropped. So we're going to talk about it as if it's out now, because I've heard it. So let's talk about this record called Vroom.
Let's talk. What do you think? What do you think of it?
So I literally heard it about 30 minutes ago. And
Same.
Because I had the link expired, long story short. We got it now. I've heard it. It slaps. The amount of people on the record, I'm surprised you were able to deliver a banger and get everyone working. There's a lot of names on this record. So I think it's only right I let you guys talk about the record. Talk about I want to know how it came about. Were you with these guys all in one session? Were you sending bits, getting bits back? And talk about this, just break down this record for the people. Let's talk about it.
Mate.
It wasn't a walk in the park.
Mate, this has been like the most anxious, grueling journey. Like, it's been a 2-year journey, this song.
Wow. Okay.
Believe it or not. Like, the beat was done in 2019. And then we had a session with Moelogo and Jinjin. Jinjin's a songwriter, quite a well-acclaimed songwriter as well. She's dope. Moelogo's a UK Afro artist, very dope singer. So we basically came up with a chorus in that session, and then from there, because of the level of bossiness that was spoken on in the chorus, there's only a certain amount of people that can actually talk that kind of talk with chest. Like, it's not on a rental thing, like, that's their lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? So our first thought process was Idris Elba, just because he's a big deal. And that's his life. Like, he's jumping in and out of them types of whips on a daily. So he was actually the first person that jumped on the song, and just honorable shout out to him, man. He's just such a humble guy, and he's, with everything he's achieved, he was gassed to be working with us. Wow. He's like, you know, it might sound weird me saying this, but like, you guys, like, I look up to you guys. Like, I'm inspired by what you guys have done and whatever. And it's just like, you're Idris Elba,
crazy.
What you talking about?
What makes you pick him as your first guy to go to on a record? Especially, you know, obviously he does music as well, but he's known for so many different areas. So you guys could have called on any sort of standout music artist. So was it, like you said?
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's the style as well. It's his style, man. Like, just how he raps. Like, he not too long ago before that done Bossy, and it was just like, you know what I mean? It was fitting. Like he said about what he was talking about in the song. There's not a lot of people that can
talk that talk.
So,
and plus, as a producer, you see the artists that are on tracks are almost additional instruments. There's tones to consider, like, would his vocal tone fit this type of beat? Would he come with the right kind of flow? Just like you might select a certain trumpet sound to work with. It's like they're all additional instruments to that overall song being produced. So yeah, he just sonically, we felt like he would work, and he actually exceeded our expectations for what he would do. Like, he bodied his verse differently.
Crazy. So you get that back from him, and then what happens?
Get that back from him, and then he started just like working with us and trying to help us get other features on it. And he got us a massive US artist. And then the back and forth on that situation was like a year. just because they're in a couple label situations and it just made it very problematic. So in the end, that didn't work out. But while that was happening, we got our label got Davido on the track as well. And then it's just like, yo, this is like
crazy.
We're getting that touchdown feeling again, where we had Stylo, and then we got Nicki Minaj, and we got Vibes Cartel. It's just like, yo, this is it's turning into another one of those things.
And then Koffee.
And then the situation with the big US artist didn't transpire. So then our label got Koffee, and she murdered it. And then the last edition was Lil Tjay, and it's just like on paper, it's mind blowing. Like to have our name and then featuring, bam, 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 bam.
It's like an NBA All-Star game going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. Like it's not something we take for granted at all. We're very grateful for the position we're in with this one.
So can we expect a video for this? Has the video been done? Like, what's the situation with that?
Maybe. There is a video. Yeah. There is a video.
So I sense you guys you're trying to play it calm, but you're massively gassed and excited about this. You know what I mean? For the people to hear this, because I remember when we was going back and forth, and I said I heard it with you. I didn't tell me, and I said I heard it, and you were shocked that I knew about the record. But I think that just shows the level of like how much you care and sort of just how excited you are to like present this. You know what I mean? So I think it's important.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is the longest song we've ever worked on. Do you know what I mean? It's taken so long to get to the part where like people are signed off, like there's a release date, all of that. It was for most of the journey, it felt like it was not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Just logistically, there's navigating the level of artists that are on this song, their release schedules, and just like Idris's movie schedule. He's a Hollywood actor. He's all over the world all the time. So yeah, there's been so much moving parts that it's been such a journey. So you're about to hear the Fanatix featuring Idris Elba, Lil Tjay, Koffee, Davido, Moelogo. This one's called Vroom, and it's a sheller.
Come on, love that. So let's keep it moving. I want you guys to pick and talk about 2 more records from your catalog, for any reason that matters to you. For, like I said, for people that might not have ever heard the Fanatix sound, or it might be a record or 2 that mean the most to you, man. So let's get into the second selection to set the tone on the episode. Fanatix in the building. What are we going with?
What are you saying, man? 'Cause I don't know. These are all our babies, you know. We like it's like saying I prefer my first son to my second son.
I know, bro.
But I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, well, it's My Family.
Parsley Back Row G, My Family. Just because the reaction that one gets, like, we've been to multiple different countries. Like, you hear someone in a Jamaican accent say, yo, the rhythm they're sick, you know, them song, that bad stuff. And then you'll go American, yo, dog, I ain't in the front. Yo, that song crazy. Like, it's translated a lot of different territory for us. And it's one of them that I feel just organically, it's just one of them that the people go for and really like. And it was one of them that we knew from beforehand as well. There's sometimes we just do songs and we're just like, yeah, it's hard, but it's kind of like in keeping with what we do anyway. But that one was one of them ones that was just like, yo, this one, I can't wait. And then when we saw the video as well, it's just like, this video is so crazy as well. So yeah, My Family, I'd say, is definitely one of our favorites.
And can I just say, I know that you, man, are talking absolute facts, because when I spoke to Walshy Fire, like last year, early, and obviously he's between Jamaica, in America, he's everywhere. And he was talking about Parsley and the sort of the fact they were up on him and playing his music over there already. Do you know what I mean? And that record is one that he was familiar with as well. So that's a big record. And talk about them, man, a little bit as well. Parsley and Back Row G, like the impact that they've made in the game as well.
Yeah, but their energy, both of them are very, very sick. Yeah, like even in the session when we did the session with Pastor Lou, and he said he wanted to bring Backroad to the session, I thought, yeah, that'd be sick. But I can't imagine what they would, what type of tune they would do or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just turned out so sick, man. Like,
And they were quite early. They were earlier in their journey at that point as well. But we saw something in them. Like, we didn't know Backroads was gonna be at that session, but like that song was definitely a moment for them as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I see Burna Boy had done a performance in the O2 Arena and brought them out in his show to perform that song. Do you know what I mean? It was massive. So that one there, that's definitely one of our favorites.
And let's get into a third one to set the tone, man. Then what are you going with?
Let's try not to be obvious. Do you know what? Just for the fact, I was thinking, really? There was a song that we done with Gigs, or a beat that we sent to Gigs, and he was like, "This is cold. I'm gonna put popcorn on this." He was like, "Really?" I couldn't imagine what he would have done on it. And it was on the Welcome to Them album, a song called
Time's Ticking.
Time's Ticking.
Banger.
And that's the combination of Gigs and Popcorn, which was the first time I'd heard that, and it worked. It slaps.
Yeah, sick. It's sick.
And again, it's kind of a different vibe for us as well, the beat, because Gigs was quite specific with the type of beat he wanted, and we just kind of tailor-made it, sent it. He's like, "Yep, sick." I'm gonna send it to Popcorn, and then sent it back to us, and it was just like, "Yo, Poppy murdered it." So yeah, that one is one of my personal bangers as well.
All right, I love that. So we've got 3 selections. Now, what I want to do for this part of the episode is obviously what we're here to do, influential records. Let's jump into the first influential record from whoever wants to go first.
So for me, coming up and what kind of influenced the type of music I wanted to make as a producer was the whole Missy and Timbo era, where just everything they did was quite distinctive, and also just slapped, but in a way that was just like, what the hell? Like, it's just weird sounds, but just the sonics in it, the bottom end, like the bass, just all their beats used to just knock. And I remember and also the way Missy used to present her visuals and all of that, it was just like out of this world. So a song that I used to rinse when I was a youth was Missy Elliott, She's a Bitch.
Love that.
The energy I got from that song was always something that I just said, yeah, like I want to emit that kind of frequency in our music, because it was just like literally whenever that came on in a club, if you were going to get a drink, that was one of them ones that would turn you around and send you back to the dance floor. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what we want our thing to do.
Right.
So yeah, Missy Elliott, She's a Bitch. That's my first selection.
All right, cool. We're gonna run that one. Let's get into your first influential record, my bro. What are we going with?
Bro,
Does that mean I won? Have I won?
I can't
No,
think
it's not even a competition.
No, I'm just drawing a blank, man. Like I listened to a lot of the, like he said, even, do you know what I mean, the Timberland, Neptunes. There's a lot of those kind of tunes. Like even the Grills tune, one of my Grills, Missy Elliott.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That tune was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say like it's just those type of beats. Like I grew up on those kind of songs, you know what I mean, and just producing those type of different kind of unique drum patterns and sounds, things like that, from Pharrell to Timberland. It was just that era, do you know what I mean? And I think that just kind of shaped the way I make music now, even still. So yeah, I'd say that would be mine. Grills, I mean,
All of my girls.
all in my grills.
Shall we do one more? I know you got another
3.
one. I know you got another one. Come on, hit me, man.
Just because I didn't know that they did it, I remember like back in the day, I used to bang out the Noriega Super Fug, and that was Neptune's. That was one of the. I remember my brethren's big brother got these new speakers, and we went around his house after school, and he's just like, "Bro, I taped this song by this guy called Noriega on Westwood yesterday. Check this." And he played it through these speakers, brother, and we lost our minds, fam. We were jumping around like crazy. So Noriega, Super Fug, Jeezy, Memphis Bleak, and Missy Elliott, Is That Your Bitch? You know that brum 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 brum. That. What was the other one I had? I had another one. Even Busta Rhymes, Give Me Some More.
Okay.
That was sick.
Was mental.
Yeah. Even the mystical tune, actually.
Which one?
The one with Pharrell, Shake It Ass.
Shake your ass. Watch yourself. Yeah, that era, like Noriega, nothing. That was such a bright era of music that I felt like between then and now things kind of got a bit darker and less fun. So I would always hear those songs and just screw my face up and just be like, Jesus. And that's what we want people to do when they hear our stuff.
Put the bounce back in the music, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna include all of those selections, but just on the subject of Super Thug, because it's one that I picked on the first ever episode that I did for myself. And you mentioned Westwood, and I mentioned the exact same story, that them times there it was a play and record situation on Radio 1. And like, just talk about that era and the impact.
So it's going down, man.
Yeah, I hear that. Now, before I let you, man, run out of here, 2 more questions. One is, talk about this little entry into the TikTok world. Like, how are you, man? How are you, man, finding out? I've seen you, man, been getting busy. You know what I mean? A lot of content coming out. Like, talk about the importance of, like, being on there more so. Do you know what I mean? I know we all know, like, kind of the reason of being on there, but as producers with the single coming out, is it a plan? Or are you just trying to have some fun? Like, what? Talk about kind of the era that we're in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess it's like showcasing what we can do and what we've been doing. People don't really see what we do. Do you know what I mean? There's not really like cameras just always there showing things, and I think it's easy for people to forget. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think it was just mainly, let's just show them, like, you know,
personality as well.
Yeah.
It's weird, like over the last few years, it's just every year there's a new app, a new platform, a new something that you need to get your head around. And it's almost like we've not been in a position where we're trying to push a record like that. It's like we've done a beat, that's their song. Like they're gonna do their thing or whatever. But yeah, we're in the stage of our career where we need to be more front and center. Neither of us are shy like that, you know, and we're very passionate about what we do. And there's so many new people we come across that say, oh yeah, I love that My Family song. And then we'll give them our Spotify playlist of just songs we've produced. And they're just gobsmacked at how many different songs that we've done that they've banged out. And they didn't even clock the tag at the beginning, which was one thing that we felt like was definitely progressing us in our career, because people then can become fans of our work. They're like, bro, Fanatix. I just keep hearing the Fanatix tag, but it's still, some people haven't noticed it. Do you know what I mean? And it's still an eye-opener to them now. So yeah, we're definitely cool with kind of sharing our music and our personality and just having fun with it. Like you said, we're DJing now as well, so we're getting all of that together and just ready to go out there and have fun with it.
Yeah, no, big ups, man. I want to big you man up for coming through. Obviously, the new release, we're gonna play that one loud. You got my support, 100% as ever.